I used to have the Chase Sapphire Preferred, but I'll never ever have it again in my life if I really had to choose. And this is exactly why. It's a great card. It's marketed for beginners, the best travel card like ever, and all the things. And that was many years ago. That was like 10 plus years ago. And as time has progressed, there's a lot of other options in the market, period. And it's not good or bad. It's just the truth of products that change. They get refreshed, they get stronger, new products come to market, etc. So simply put, the Chase Sapphire Preferred's value proposition, it's multifold. Like, of course, it's a Chase card. Chase Ultimate Reward points go a long way, where with the card, generally with the Chase Sapphire Preferred, you could look at an intro offer of, hey, 60,000 bonus points after 4K in spend in the first 3 months, and those 60,000 points could be $600 in cash, but because it's a travel card, you have the power of redeeming these points on the Chase portal for, let's say, 25% extra multiplier, where 60,000 points with a penny of point of value for cash back, now it's going to be 1.25x. So in other words, $750 worth of travel. But then the next stage of that is that you can transfer these Chase points to partners such as airlines and hotels, and there are some notable partners there, the main one being Hyatt, where basically with Hyatt hotels, it's known that, hey, you could get 2 cents per point in value. In other words, those 60,000 points could afford you, let's say, $1,200 worth of travel, where you're still spending just that $4,000 in that beginning period, but 1,200 divided by 4K, that math is basically going to be what it is, where you're not just getting, let's say, hey, 10% cash back, you're basically getting like 30% cash back equivalent from the same spend that you would have done anyways in that intro offer period. That's great. That's amazing. But now we have more options. The Chase Sapphire Preferred has a $95 annual fee. It comes with $50 in credits where it can be used specifically for hotels through the portal. So in other words, it's effectively like, hey, $95 minus $50 is $45 effectively in terms of the annual fee. But it comes down to, hey, were you going to stay in a hotel at least once a year? I would hope so, because it's like a travel card, right? Let's assume that's the case. So now for $45, what are you getting? You're getting 3x points for each and every dollar spent on dining. You're getting some extra, spend on multipliers, and that's fantastic. But the real bigger picture that I just want to say, very straight to the point, is that this card was very strong when it was, and the market leader, let's say. But now there's so many other options if you want the same outcome. So for me, if I'm a huge fan of Hyatt without even paying an annual fee, for example, with the Built MasterCard by Wells Fargo, where we're also getting 3x points per dollar spent towards dining and other multipliers, we can take those points and transfer them to partners like Hyatt without even ever paying an annual fee, without, considering, hey, this is the Chase ecosystem, and then within the Chase ecosystem, there's all these things. Just simply put, it all depends on your use case. And for me, that really was the biggest use case. Like on the flip side, Chase Sapphire Preferred has like the big brother, the Sapphire Reserve, where it has a $550 annual fee. And for me personally, I would look at it like, okay, so I'm spending $550, what am I getting? Well, you're getting a $300 travel credit, which is super easy to use, not just through a portal, but if you're going like Uber, Lyft, parking, tolls, what have us, right? Then we're effectively saying, okay, well, 500 minus 300 is $250 in effective annual fee. So one more from there is that you get $20 in credits to DoorDash, and there's some nuance of how to redeem it, but for my use case, it makes perfect sense, and I'm not overspending to redeem said credits. So what that means is you're getting $240 back. So now it's $250 minus $240. So now you're $10 effectively, spending out of your pocket. And there's other benefits with the reserve, such as 1.5x in terms of your points worth when you're redeeming on the portal. So in other words, if there's a $150 flight, you just need to spend 10,000 points instead of 15,000 points for the same reservation. So with all that said, if the selling point of the Sapphire Preferred is, okay, Hyatt's a transfer partner, you can do the same thing with the Chase Sapphire Reserve. It's literally the same transfer partner list, because just how the Chase ecosystem works. And if you have the Built MasterCard by Wells Fargo, what's even better than that is not just Hyatt, you have a beautiful partner, which, for example, with Chase, back in the day, I'm talking, this is 10 years ago, Korean Air used to be a partner. And Korean Air, fantastic redemptions if you're trying to go one way, let's say from America to Korea, where back in the day, it's like Atlanta to Incheon Airport, direct, nonstop, 25,000 miles, insane flight. The point is, now that partner doesn't exist anymore. So if you want to do the same thing, there's other ways to do it, right? But in the end, with the Built MasterCard by Wells Fargo, it has a partner known as Alaska Airlines. And for me, I have a very niche use case of going to Hyderabad, India, and there's a beautiful route. It's like a one-stop layover, and either if you take Qatar Airways through Doha, or if you take, let's say, British Airways through London, the One World Alliance, basically with Alaska Airlines, that redemption is insane. And with the Chase Sapphire Preferred or Reserve, like, we don't even have that option. Not that you can't book other other One World Alliance flights in general. For example, like the same flight on Alaska Airlines versus the same flight if you go directly to Qatar Airways, it's literally like double the price. And I'll put, screenshots on screen. The point is, you have more options, you have more flexibility, optionality, all the things without stretching yourself of, hey, I'm paying this annual fee, okay, and I'm paying this, now I got to break even, now I got to think about it, oh, my annual fee hit, like, oh, is it really worth it? Should I call Chase? Should I renege? Should I renegotiate? Basically, like, oh, can I, get a credit for, like, it's a bunch of garbage, right? So not going through any kind of decisions. The whole point is you want to decrease your decisions to have more productivity towards, what the other decisions could be, or efficiency, or whichever way you want to put it. And in the end, the Sapphire Preferred, as great of a card as it used to be, I don't think it's that valuable anymore. But on the flip side, if I had to say, like, hey, when would I really consider getting it again? Just like this Korean Air example. Let's say Alaska goes away. Let's say Hyatt goes away from the built card by Wells Fargo. Then maybe I have to go backwards to the Sapphire Preferred, or at least consider it. Because one day, let's say to Chase Sapphire Reserve, these promotional credits, like the DoorDash credits I mentioned, similarly, they had like 10x per dollar spent with Lyft, which was ridiculously lucrative, especially if you're traveling, let's say, every week or what have you, and you can use your personal card for expenses, whether that's for business or for a corporate job, right? So if you look at it from that perspective, maybe the Sapphire Preferred is a great long-term keeper card if you don't want to overcomplicate your inflow of points that you would receive for Hyatt redemptions, where the built card came out very much after the case, which there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just the fact of the matter, right? So in the end, would I ever get the Sapphire Preferred? I don't think that's how I started off this video. I said I would never get it again. And the real reason I would even consider it is if I needed to downgrade from my Chase Sapphire Reserve to the Preferred because there's not enough value that I'm getting anymore, which I don't think would be the case. And at that point, I would not even get the Preferred. I would just go all the way down and product change it to the no annual fee cards like the Chase Freedom Unlimited or the Chase Freedom Flex or what have us. And totally, I get it. Like, we can also have the game where, hey, you can only get the bonus for the Preferred like once in every 4 to 8 months. So you can get it, then later, if you don't have it, then you reapply for it. And like, that's like a 4-year game, and you can cyclically do this, and that's great, right? But like, without over optimizing for all those extraneous scenarios and blah blah blah, like, I'm talking from a daily driver lifestyle perspective, the Preferred, I think it's outgrown itself, and it's not its fault. It's just everything else in the market that's just been introduced over time. That's pretty much the TLDR. And one more final thing is that when you are at those no annual fee cards like the Freedom Flex and the Freedom Unlimited, it's not like you can't upgrade again to the Sapphire Preferred the next year. Sure, there's something known as a card act where basically when you are charged a certain annual fee, they can't again increase that annual fee or charge it to you again. So in other words, if you downgrade to the Freedom Unlimited or Freedom Flex, tomorrow, let's say we do it today and tomorrow you're like, yo, I want the Preferred again. You're not going to be able to do it. You got to wait a year, and just because of regulation, and that's what it is. But that's the overall name of the game at that point. On another note, if you came this far, I want to thank you, and I'd love to actually talk with you for a quick 15-minute intro chat just to know who's on the other side and actually provide value to you in another means. So in the end, I'll leave a video for comparing the Freedom Unlimited versus the Freedom Flex if you want to know more about my thoughts on there. But travel and credit cards is where it's at, where cashback, yeah, it's cool, but I don't think it's, my cup of tea necessarily. Maybe right now in the point of life I am. Maybe in a few years. Let's see. Maybe family, kids, you're traveling less. We'll see. We'll see how this evolves. Thanks for coming to Danielle. Catch you in the next one. Peace.